beans live. Now you're wondering, what kind of beans are they? They edible beans? Yes, yes. Well, no, they're not. They're beans, but I would not eat them. They're very ferocious, and they're very, well, they will do some damage, so do not try to eat the beans, because they might try to find you or your family, and possibly plant some magic beans on your house, so the house goes flies up in the clouds, and you do not want to do that. Mess with the beans and try to eat them. But these beans are they are the type of beans, the kidney beans, so the red. They look just like the backward bean. Little red circle on the straw right here. Instead of a pencil, I'm going to use a marker. I don't know what's kind of around the tip, but alright, so a bean, just like this. This is your average red bean. Looks like this. They've got a unibrow, like that. Two small eyes. They've got no nose. So you're wondering, how do they sniff and smell? Well, they do actually have a nose. You just can't see it. Frankly, when the bean looks in the mirror, they cannot see the nose, but somehow the sniffing, it's magicalness. So, and then they've got always a little smirk, like that, and their legs, arms and legs are just little sticks, basically. I mean, they've got tiny little, little shoes on that are just little pieces of grass on the feet. And then you cannot, on these groups of these beans that live in the woods, they have little horns on their head, and they're tiny, just a little horn, or like all the beans in the bean saga have horns, and it's the same bean, but the bean here has a family inside this live oak tree. It's a village. The whole entire tree is just a massive village. So there's many different families that live inside this tree. There is the Bensons, the family of I think 62, quite a large family. And then Bean here has a family of about it's just